In this video, I'm going over first, second, and third degree price discrimination. And first, I'm going to just explain each of those and give some examples. And then I'm going to go over the classic ways of modeling each of them. First degree price discrimination is going to be a purely theoretical concept. This is going to be where the firm looks inside each person's head and charges them exactly their valuation for the product. So imagine selling a pair of shoes, and if you could somehow tell what is the very highest price that any given individual would pay for these shoes and put that price tag on that product for that person specifically. And of course, we know this can never happen. Companies can never actually truly know the valuation that each customer has for the product. So why bother even having something that's this theoretical? And the reason is because when we model it, we get some nice intuitions about how price discrimination works, and those intuitions can be applied to the other two types of price discrimination, which are much more common in the real world. Now, second degree price discrimination is going to be where the companies create slight variations on the products that are going to attract different types of people. And some classic examples here are when airlines create different seats for coach class versus first class, where the distinctions in the quality of the seats are naturally going to attract a higher price product for higher income people and a lower price product for lower income people, but both products are basically a seat on the plane. Another example might be the ballet, where you have the mezzanine section and the balcony, and people with more income who are willing to pay more can sit in the mezzanine section. People who don't value the ballet as much, or who just have less money and are willing to pay a lower price for that, can sit in the balcony. And there's a quality difference between those seats, but it essentially is a form of price discrimination because you're trying to get a higher price from higher income people, a lower price from lower income people, and you're trying to price based on people's valuation for the ballet. Even though in all of these cases, the company is not looking at the person and saying, based on who you are, I'm going to charge a different price. They're not doing that at all. Rather, they're just creating different products with the knowledge that different types of people will be attracted to different products. And there's lots of different ways to design products with slight variations, such that different people are attracted to different variations of the product. Bulk packaging is one of them. Price discrimination through weighting is a thing where some people will pay for the first model as soon as it comes out, and those people oftentimes value the product more and are willing to pay more, and other people have to wait 6 months or a year to buy that product, but that group is going to be willing to pay less. And so price discrimination through weighting is another version of second degree price discrimination. And the key here is that the company is not looking at the person and basing the price on personal characteristics. Rather, the company is simply price discriminating through the design of the products. Now, third degree price discrimination is where the company actually looks at the person and bases the price they charge on personal characteristics. And examples here include student discounts, senior citizen discounts, educator discounts for certain software products. All of those are examples of third degree price discrimination. All right, so now I'd like to go through and just show you briefly how each of these is going to be modeled. And first degree price discrimination is going to be modeled with the classic supply and demand curve. There's just a little variation here. So in normal situations that don't involve price discrimination, everybody pays the same price, and that's going to be determined at equilibrium. With price discrimination, we know that each person gets a different price that is targeted to them. So when we think about the demand curve, we're imagining people lined up on this axis. And the interpretation of the demand curve is simply that this person, the person who's willing to pay the most, will pay exactly this much and no more. For this person, if you have a higher price than that, say that's $50, they won't buy the product. If you have a lower price than that, they will buy the product. And normally, if the price is really low, this person gets a surplus of their valuation for it minus their price, and that is what consumer surplus is. But with price discrimination, the company is going to charge this person as much as they will possibly pay. So they charge that person $50, and there's no consumer surplus. The entire surplus goes to the producer. And same with this next person. This person is willing to pay $49. So with this theoretical first-degree price discrimination, the company charges this person $49 exactly. They charge this person $48 because that's how much this person values it at. And because of that, this entire area is going to be producer surplus. Also because of that, the demand curve is going to be marginal revenue because you get $50 from this person, so the revenue from this person is $50. You get $49 from this person, the revenue from them is $49. So the demand curve suddenly becomes the marginal revenue curve in a case of first-degree price discrimination. Now, how do economists model second-degree price discrimination? And the answer here is that you use mechanism design. And mechanism design is really fun. It's where you have incentive compatibility constraints and participation constraints, and you have these inequalities, and I'm not going to go into this deeply in this video, but the basic idea is that you come up with an equation such that people who value the product highly, for example, first-class customers or high-income customers for airplanes, those people have some quality difference in the seating that will make it such that they'll choose the first class ticket rather than the coach class ticket. And that's going to be an inequality, and you make sure that when you design the products, you make the coach class seats just uncomfortable enough to guarantee that first class customers will choose the first class seats and pay first class prices. So you're going to set up an equation like this, where you have the utility to the first class customer, which is a certain type of customer that you're trying to get a higher price from, of a seat on the plane that is of the first class type. Whatever quality that is, this is the seat quality, and that may include free drinks, it may include bigger seats, more legroom, whatever it is that makes up seat quality. So their utility for that minus the price they pay for first class tickets needs to be greater than or equal to the utility to the first class type of customer of buying a seat of coach class quality and paying a coach class price. So if you can choose seat quality for both of these types of seats, make the coach class a little bit uncomfortable, make the first class very comfortable in various ways, then you can manipulate the prices such that this is achieving price discrimination. And there's also participation constraints. You also need to make sure that this first class ticket is better than your competitor's first class ticket. I'm not going to set up the participation constraint in this video, but I have other videos on mechanism design if you're interested in that. All right, so what about third degree price discrimination? How do you model third degree price discrimination? Well, with this one, it's fairly simple. This one acknowledges that different types of people, for example, students and senior citizens, have different demand functions for products. And obviously those two categories, students have less money so they can pay less. So having a ticket price where you have to prove that you're a student by showing your student ID allows you to simply pick a different price to charge that group. And you're going to do this by having different revenue functions, each with a unique demand function associated with the type of person. So here we have a profit maximization function where we have three choice variables: price for the student ticket, price for the senior citizen ticket, and the regular price. And we've got three revenue functions where each revenue function is simply the price for that group of people times the quantity for that group of people, which is a function of the price for that group of people. And this is a unique demand function that is specific to that group of people. So this is like regular adults, their demand function. And then for students, we have a demand function over here that's probably different and probably much lower, since students have a lower willingness to pay. They don't have a whole lot of money. And over here we have senior citizens' demand function, which may also be lower since many of them are on fixed incomes. And of course you just subtract costs, which are a function of the quantity for each. And so this is very simply, we're separating out revenue functions so that we can take full advantage of the different demand functions for the different types of people. And that's basically how you model first, second, and third degree price discrimination. It's a really fun thing to do and super applicable to the real world.